The cave was like a new playground for George. And turn himself into a fearless giant. Suddenly, the cave seemed very different. For the very first time, George was truly afraid of the dark. In the safety of his room, George was happy. He knew he never had to go back to that spooky cave again.
George, why did you turn all the lights on? You're not afraid of the dark. Oh, I see. You're not afraid of the dark, but you're afraid of the monsters in the dark, hmm? It's okay. All right. Now, show me the monsters. But those aren't monsters. You see? They're the same things in the dark as they are in the light. Your imagination got the best of you, George. But you know what? I have something to make you feel better. Your own personal nightlight. Now you'll never be afraid in the dark. All right, good night, George.
George had led Jumpy to the cave. Now he had to get the squirrel to follow him inside. That was easier than he expected. The man with the yellow hat was right. The only scary things in the dark were in George's imagination. That night, the power was restored. But George almost wished it was still out. And so, after a day of spooky shadows and strange shapes and sounds, George found that he never felt so at home as he did right then, in the dark. George always liked helping in the Pischetti's green, beautiful garden.
We need more tomatoes, more eggplant, more everything. Nettie, we must expand our garden. I have drawn up a plan. New hoses, fresh topsoil, more plants.
But, Chef, where will we expand to?
The reason George liked their garden so much was that it was right in the middle of the city.
The firehouse picnic is in 1 hour. Can you get it perfect in 1 hour?
I must, for I am Biscotti. Onion? Okay, let's try it. Squisito. Tell me what you think of this. Be honest. All of my Giardino burger ingredients came from our garden, Giorgio. Taste it, taste it.
See, this is perfect.
George put the box on the truck right outside the restaurant. But he didn't know there were 2 trucks out there.
Hi! Hey! Look, there's a monkey waving at me. Monkeys are so friendly.
If that book showed the chef how to make the burgers, George could use it too, and make burgers that would be exactly the same. The ingredients came from the garden. Here were pictures of things from the garden, so he had obviously found the right recipe. Then he was ready to mix them, and though he wanted to follow the recipe precisely, he felt a few minor changes couldn't hurt. All he had to do was make enough to fill the box.
Giorgio! Oh, you have them. I was worried when the box wasn't on the truck. I hope you all like them.
I've never had a meatless burger before.
What can I be if I'm not the chef? All I know is cooking. Nettie! 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 There are fire trucks outside. Is everything okay?
It's more than okay. It's delicious.
What's going on here?
George is telling you that he made the other burgers, not you.
Oh, Nettie, you can understand Giorgio?
No. What's important is that these were made from your recipe.
Chef Biscotti, this is the best vegetarian burger I've ever had.
Wait a minute, I thought you said you never had one before.
Yeah, so it's the best one I've ever had.
Excuse me, is this yours? Has your picture on it. Ooh, woo, something sure smells good in here.
My Giardino burgers. Oh, I'm so happy I may cry.
Whoa, Chef.
Yeah. Well, this supplies your air. Now just breathe naturally, George.
Your helmet contains a camera, microphone, and headphones. This locator will flash when you're close to the satellite.
Be a good little sea monkey.
Careful, don't get distracted. The reef's home to all kinds of sea life. Sort of like our big city is home to all kinds of people.
What happened? George, can you hear us?
George, you're near the satellite. Head to the C4. Can you see it? What? Did you find it? Nice. But we're not looking for crabs, George.
Are those sharks?
Those are small reef sharks. They're not interested in monkeys. The coral reef supplies them with food.
He found it!
That's my monkey.
George, can you see an open place to move the satellite to? Good. Now release your emergency marker. I'll fly over and drop you a line.
All right, George. Now attach the hook to the satellite.
Bring you up one at a time, but this worked too.
The data module is intact. Our research is saved.
Thanks to George.
George!
George!
Yep. Flying in a helicopter was fun. But George liked exploring the ocean better, because in the sky, there are no sea turtles.
Pasta fajoule! It's gonna take hours to untangle this mess.
We don't have hours. We are due down at the town hall now.
But so did George.
Okay, George. Guard this spaghetti strand with your life.
Pisgettis, please leave a tasty message. Steve, are you there? Pick up. I have an important question to ask.
George wasn't sure if he should pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone!
So George picked up the phone.
Oh, Steve, thank goodness you answered. We need for you to check on something for us, eh? Yeah, please go outside and tell me how tall the building next to our building is.
Gnocchi got in. She felt very clever. For a second. How was he going to do it? Since he knew he was 2 feet tall, maybe he could use himself as a measuring tool. Okay, that was one George. But how many Georges tall was the building? If only he had something like that measuring tape. Or why not that measuring tape?
Hello, Steve? Do you have an answer for me?
George knew he had to keep Gnocchi away from that spaghetti strand. He had an idea how to do it. This was going great. 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet. Uh-oh. The tape measure was only 20 feet long, but the building was more than 20 feet tall. But how much more?
There's Biscotti's restaurant.
And here's Chef Biscotti's strand of spaghetti. I have got to get a picture of this.
George could see that the spaghetti wasn't touching the ground. When George held the strand at the top of his head, it reached the ground. That meant the building was exactly 1 spaghetti strand and 1 George tall.
Love this.
Stevie, why you don't come back in a minute? You're Ginny, the world record book lady.
And you must be Chef Biscotti.
Yes, yes.
And up there on the roof, is that your monkey friend?
Yes, monkey. Giorgio?
Displaying your super long spaghetti strand. Here's the photograph I just took of it.
Wow. Does that set a world record, Jenny?
Oh, I'm afraid not. Here's the picture I took of Alfonso Dimitri displaying his strand of cooked spaghetti from the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
No. Now I'm never gonna get in the world record book.
You most certainly will. You have the second longest strand of cooked spaghetti. 3 stories tall.
Son of the
Wow, Chef Biscotti.
So Gnocchi finally got to play with the spaghetti. And Chef Biscotti broke a second record. World's longest cat toy. George was too excited to sleep. He wondered if it was time to start. 15 more minutes. He decided to let the man sleep until the alarm woke him up. George could handle a little farm work alone. Cinchy. The Rankins didn't say whether he should wake Leslie up before milking her. They said remember to milk her from the side. Except George forgot. 5. 5 chicks and 1 jumpy squirrel. That wasn't right. George had seen Mrs. Rinkins drive the tractor, but how did she turn it off? Maybe working a farm was more than one monkey could handle alone.
George, cut it out. Oh, hi, Mike. Mike? How did you get in here? The alarm's turned off? There's a pig in my bed. George! George, what are you... How did... Okay, just sit tight, okay? Well, let's round them up, partner. I don't know if you did that on purpose, George, but it worked. Well, don't relax yet, George. We promised the Rinkins we'd have the chores done before they got back. That's a dozen eggs. 10 plus 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 quarts, George. Nice job. All done. Just in time, too. Welcome home. So, how'd he do?
Oscar won! He's the prettiest pig you've ever seen. It's official.
Tough morning, huh?
Well, actually, yeah. You know, because you're such a good farmer, huh?
Yeah, that and the fact that Mike's on your roof.
What? That's how George learned to always count everything twice and check your roof for pigs.
Good thinking, George. This is the perfect place to try out my boat. Relax. I'm in 5th grade. I'm prepared. Oh, man, this is great. I can see if my boat holds up in bad weather.
Unfortunately, it was floating away.
Whoa. Oh, look at it take those rapids. I am a master barge builder. Great, George. We'll cut it off at the pass. But we need something to catch it with. Let's use this. Help me out, will you? Ah, right. Uh-oh. George, it's getting away! I got it!
Steve's boat was a goner. Or it would have been if the drain had been draining, but it wasn't. Until someone cleaned it.
No!
Hang on, kid. You can't go down there.
You don't understand. My history homework is in there, and I've just got to get it back. I've just gotta. Otherwise, I'll be stuck in class with my kid's sister next year.
That's rough.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Hold on.
What?
Anything that goes down a drain goes to the wastewater treatment plant. Maybe your homework is there.
Then we're going there too. This is not going to be easy.
Everything that comes into the wastewater treatment plant gets sorted into 3 categories. Oils, mostly from car and truck engines. Sand and grit, from construction or sand used on icy roads in winter. And solids. That means pretty much anything else that ends up in the water. Old shoes, spare parts.
Boats?
Boats? They'd all be right here. Wait, your boat's not here. It's raining.
But the sanitation workers said everything that goes down the drain goes here.
It does, except during heavy rains. The system can't handle all the stormwater and it overflows. Right now, the pipes and tanks are backed up, so anything on its way here isn't going to get here. There. It goes down the river to the ocean.
The ocean? How am I gonna find my history homework in the ocean? Ah, that plastic ring has got a bird.
Don't worry. We'll help her out and then release her.
My boat! At least I think that's my boat. My teacher is never gonna believe my homework went down a storm drain and got destroyed.
So, when it rains, everything goes into the ocean? That's awful. Somebody ought to figure out a way to warn people.
Yeah, they should paint a model boat with an X through it on the street drains so some other kid doesn't lose his history homework like I did. And while they're at it, they should paint like birds and fish and little wavy things for water on the street drains. And then, like, paint a coffee cup with an X through it so people know not to litter because it'll end up in the ocean.
That's a very good idea, Steve.
It is? Yeah, it is.
This was a terrific idea for a class project, Steve.
Thanks.
Of course, the bad news is you won't get to be in history class with Betsy next year.
All right! Yeah!
Steve?
Huh. Oh, no. Another blackout?
Nope. Watch this. Are we ready, Dr. Levitt?
Ready?
I wanted you to be the first to see.
To see that the lights work?
You just witnessed the first test of the solar panels I installed to power the museum.
We're unveiling them at a party tonight. We're a solar museum.
Wow.
Usually, electricity is made far away and sent in on wires, but now the museum makes its own power.
Solar panels turn the sun's rays into electricity, which is then stored in these batteries. And they get all their power from the sun.
George never knew the sun could charge batteries. A remote control spaceship is the perfect hot weather toy. until the batteries run out. Then he remembered how the museum batteries got power from the sun. So why not let the sun charge up his batteries too? There was something else with batteries that needed charging.
George, have you seen the phone? It's outside. It should be on its charger. Oh no, battery's still dead. You wanted the sun to charge it? Well, that's not how solar power works, George. Since the phone won't work, can you take a note to Professor Wiseman for me?
Oh, those are solar panels. They convert the sun's rays to electric power, remember?
George forgot about solar panels. That's why the phone didn't charge.
Right! Batteries store the energy the solar panels create, so we have it when we want it, even at night.
Thanks, George. 5 o'clock. If I put it in the oven right now, it'll be ready in plenty of time. Oh, another blackout. George, the oven's electric. My lasagna won't cook. I'd better warn Professor Wiseman we may be late. Or worse, lasagna-less. Where did I leave it now? There's no way on earth to cook without power. George, that reflected sun is hot. That reflected sun is hot. George, you may be a genius. A pizza box keeps pizza warm, so it'll hold the heat. A hole to let the sun in. Glue on some plastic wrap to keep the heat from getting out again. And shiny aluminum foil to direct the sun's heat into the box. Fantastic! Angle it so the sun hits the lasagna. If the power comes back on, we can put it in the oven. But if it doesn't, I think it'll cook.
Hours later, guests arrived at the museum, which was the only building in the whole city with electricity.
How do you have lights and air conditioning? The whole city is without electricity.
The museum is now solar-powered. Blackouts can't affect us.
I'm sorry. Our power has been out all afternoon. I couldn't make dessert.
I know. Poor Dr. Levitt won't have her favorite birthday things. Excuse me, Chef. Monkey finger. It's hot. It's cooked.
We made a solar cooker. Thank George. And the sun.
Thank you. Nothing could make this birthday more special than a solar lasagna.
That was nice of you to teach him to drive the solar car.
I thought you taught him.
George! 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 Come back with that expensive piece of car! Bye, George.
George had his seed system set. First he dug a hole, then he planted some seeds, then he covered the hole. He ate them. Farmer Rankins protected his garden from the birds with a scarecrow. Only, it wasn't very scary. That was it. But how could he get it to move? It was the biggest pinwheel George had ever seen.
Pretty neat, huh?
Some people use windmills to make electricity. I use mine to make flour and butter.
Well, I'll be. What do you think, George?
Ooh. That's the butter churner. Those stones grind the grain into flour for bread. Bread and butter go together like, well, bread and butter.
That was it. George could use a windmill to make his scarecrow move. Now, what did Mr. Coyote say? If you're building a windmill, you need sails. Time to take those sails for a spin. But his windmill stopped short. So George gave his windmill a leg up. 4 of them. His sails moved, but his windmill didn't. What was he missing?
When the wind blows, it pushes the sails.
George could push his sails, but the wind couldn't. Mr. Coyote's sails were stiff. Maybe that gave the wind more to push against. All his windmill needed now was a scarecrow mover. George had done it. He'd made his scarecrow move. But he did feel bad for Compass and his friends. Now the pigeons could eat their food while George grew his.